Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Worship Drumming. This is a channel where I teach drum lessons based around a worship-centered context, and I also do drum tutorials for popular worship songs, just like today's video. And I'm going to be teaching you how to play You Make Me Brave by Bethel. Before I get into talking about this song, I do want to say my people who entered into the Vic Firth 55A freestyle giveaway, I have notified those 5 people on Instagram. They've messaged me back. They know who they are, and I'll hope to be sending those out to you guys within the next 2 weeks or so. I got hung up on a little issue, and you should be expecting those sometime within the next 2 weeks. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel that I can do that, and I hope to do another giveaway similar to that here in the future. Moving on to talking about the song now. This song is hard to play on the drums, especially if you have heard the song, you know what I'm talking about. This song can be difficult, and there's something we have to keep in mind, is that the person who recorded this is a professional musician. This isn't just some average Joe Schmo like me who taught themselves how to play drums like me, and they didn't just go to some church and then, come up with this cool thing and then their church didn't professionally record it and put it out there. No, this is professional musicians recording this stuff and putting this stuff out there. Now, it is our job, mostly, for us to replicate what they're doing and be able to do that on Sunday morning. So that's what I hope to help you guys do with this song. I feel like the sun's like setting perfectly in the window and it's like causing this weird light over here, so I'm sorry for that. Anyways, let's go ahead and move the camera and we'll start talking about this song. All right, with this song, there are kind of a lot of weird things happening with the drums and even with the metronome, which is usually the first thing I like to talk to you guys about. The metronome is clicking 70 beats a minute, and it's hitting all of the eighth notes. How I'm counting these, though, even though, yes, it's 70 beats a minute and it's eighth notes, I'm actually going to count all of those as quarter notes, and I'll explain why in just a second. First, let me show you how I'm counting it, and I'll explain exactly why I do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's exactly how I'm counting it. So all of those clicks, I'm actually counting as quarter notes. Now, the reason I do that is because there's a lot of 2-bar phrases in this song, and I like having that hard click to let me know where I'm at in reference to that 2-bar phrase. Because if I have that hard click every bar, maybe if I venture out on a fill or something, and then whenever I come back, I might be... and I don't have that hard click to kind of help guide me if I accidentally started the wrong bar at the wrong time, then it kind of messes me up a little bit. But now if you want to, set it for quarter notes at 140 BPM, you can do that as well. This is just the way I prefer to do it, especially because we also have some halftime stuff that's going to be in here, and I'd rather just kind of have the metronome clicking like that as I play the halftime later. So there's going to be a really intense build part in the bridge section, which, I don't know, I just like having... at least mentally thinking that the metronome's clicking at 70 rather than 140, even though those would be the same depending on how you subdivide those. Let's get right into the intro part of the song, the kind of iconic part of this song specifically. It comes in with the drums, and it is kind of scary to play whenever you're the person who has to kind of nail this part here to start the song, and everything's timed really weird. Let me kind of show you what it's going to be like. I'm going to do without the metronome, then we'll break it down, and then we'll play it with the metronome. So that there is basically the intro. It's also going to kind of help us get to those turnaround sections and everything. It's really not much different when you hit those turnaround sections. So as you probably noticed, that this is a 2-bar phrase, and it's kind of really odd. To start out, we're first hitting the snare drum on 1, which is already kind of weird, and then we're playing 2 consecutive kick drums right after. So we're going 1 and 2. So that kick drum's on the and of 1, and it's on beat 2. 1 and 2. Then you're playing the and of 2 on the snare drum right after, and then another 2 on the floor. So 1 and 2 and 3 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and. And then we're just going to hit beat 4 on the snare drum. So we're ending that bar with just hitting the 4 on the snare drum. And I'm just doing this with my left hand because you'll see a part later where I'm going to use my right hand to help me out. So it's just 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That's the first bar. Work on playing that at speed. Get that down before you try to start working on the next bar. Slow it down. Take your time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. This next bar is where things, in my opinion, get a little bit more challenging. We're going to hit the kick drum on 1 and then follow that up with 2 snare drums. It's going to go 1 and 2. So 1 and 2. Then we're going to play the kick drum on the and of 2, and then we're going to play the snare drum on beat 3, then the kick drum on the and of 3. So all together it's this, real slow. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and then we play a 16th note, a quick little right-left on the snare drum right after that kick drum. So all together now we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4E, and then you end with your kick drum on the and of 4. So the second bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4E and then you loop back to the first bar. So let's go through all of it one more time. The first bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Second bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. One more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now let's play with the metronome. Once you have that part down, you practically have all the turnaround sections down as well. Then you're going to play what's really kind of like the turnaround sections, and that is going to be the exact same beat, only this time your right hand is going to hit with almost all of your left hand hits. Now some people play this, and I'm going to be honest, the reason I don't play it this way is because I'm not advanced enough. People will play this where they're playing eighth notes on the hi-hat and just keeping that exact same groove that we've been doing. That's really difficult for me, and there's times whenever I play drums that I need to simplify things down to my skill level and then eventually later work my way up to it. So don't be embarrassed if you have to kind of dumb things down for yourself every once in a while. So for the turnaround sections, I'm just playing the exact same thing, only this time my right hand is adding in some hi-hat, so that way, and by the way, it's going to be more of an open hi-hat, so that way the groove sounds a little bit bigger. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what that's going to sound like with the metronome, because it's exactly what we just played, except my right hand hits with all my left hand hits, except for the 4E part that we have, the quick 16th note. So let me show you what that will sound like. So once again, that is basically your intro and all of your turnaround sections. Now we get into the verse. If you thought things were difficult already, just wait. Once we get into the verse, this is once again another 2-bar phrase. This time I am going to hold down my eighth notes on my hi-hat. So really the only thing that's going to be staying rather consistent throughout these 2 bars is we're playing eighth notes on our hi-hat, and they're going to be kind of fast. So, because remember, I'm counting all those as quarter notes, so it's going to be some pretty fast eighth notes. So it's going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. For the first part here on the verse, we are playing with our eighth notes on the hi-hat. We're going to play 2 kick drums on 1 and the and of 1. The snare drum is going to be played on 2, and then we have a kick drum on the and of 2 right after. Before I go any further, let's do that really quick. So far in the verse, we have 1 and 2 and then we have a kick drum also playing on 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and. So that snare drum is falling on the and of 3. So we have 2 kicks on 1 and, snare drum on 2, 2 kicks on the and of 2 and also beat 3, and then the snare drum falls on the and of 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Then we have a kick drum to end that bar on the and of beat 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that kick drum is falling on the and of 4, and it's going to hit right before we start that next bar on beat 1 with another kick drum. For the second bar, right after that kick drum on the and of 4, we're going to start the second bar with a kick drum on beat 1, and then we'll have the snare drum falling on beat 2. Then we have the kick drum on the 3 and the and of 3. And then we have a snare drum on the and of 4. So it's so close to finally playing a normal bar of drums, but they had to throw that snare drum on the and of 4 for whatever reason. So the second bar sounds like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So it's kind of like your basic rock groove, only you're moving the beat 4 back an eighth note. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let's put both those bars together now. The hardest thing is going to be able to get that kick drum on the and of 4 and on beat 1. It's going to be like you're playing a double on your foot there. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. First bar again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then the second bar is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now let's put both those bars together really slow. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let's go ahead and play that with the metronome. I'm going to play a bar, or I guess technically 2 bars of the intro first to help you hear how it's going to go from the intro transitioning into the verse. The next part after the verse comes the first chorus. The first chorus is the only chorus really, other than sort of the drop chorus part later, that's different than the other choruses. So with this chorus, what we're going to play is we're going to drop to a 4 on the floor, and we're going to be playing eighth notes on our ride cymbal. So basically just going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and just playing the body of the ride here, not having to get it washy or hit the bell or anything. And then we're just kind of carrying the beat with the 4 on the floor. So we're going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we're going to do that for the first half of the bridge. And then whenever it gets to the "You Are For Us" part, we're going to come in with I have a tambourine sound here on my little multi-pad that my wife got me for Christmas, and so this is the first time I'm using it. If you don't have a tambourine sound or a tambourine, a hi-hat that is just a little bit open does the job well. So once we hit that "You Are For Us" part, we're just adding in the tambourine on all the quarter notes with our kick drum. So let me show you exactly what this whole chorus would sound like. So notice there in the chorus, I kind of just added some cymbal swells where I felt that they were needed. And then at the end of that chorus, you kind of hit like a little break. It's near the very end, the last bar of the chorus. You're going to break on the 3. So if it's going 1, 2, 3, 4, so you're waiting to break on 3, and then you're hitting the intro there on 1. It's kind of something that you just got to play with the song to really figure out when are you going to hit that stop and let your cymbals kind of ring out for a second, and then just come in real heavy with that intro groove with the rest of the band. That's the only chorus that kind of does that for the most part. This is why I specifically pointed out. After chorus 1, you get to go into a verse playing the same verse groove that we did before, and then it hits another chorus. Now finally, in this chorus, are we getting to play some pretty normal drum stuff. With this, we are playing what's called a halftime groove. So technically, with the way I'm counting it, is sort of in a way halftime with the way the metronome works. But let's talk about how everything's going to work. We're playing quarter notes on the ride cymbal, so going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I am hitting the edge of it, trying to make it sort of washy. And I'm hitting my kick drum for bar 1. By the way, this is a 2-bar phrase. What a surprise. On beat 1 and beat 2, I'm hitting the kick drum. Now remember, we're counting quarter notes, so we're going 1, 2, 3. So our snare drum most of the time is going to be falling on 3. So it's just 1, 2, 3. And then on the and of 4, we're hitting a kick drum that's falling between our right hand hits. So this is the first bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Slow down a little bit for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, and. 1, 2, 3, 4, and. You are just hitting the ride cymbal on 1. There's no kick drum on beat 1 on the next bar, which is pretty normal, honestly, if you're used to playing in halftime. So you're going to hit your ride cymbal. This is bar 2. Your ride cymbal still playing those quarter notes. You're going to hit your kick drum on the and of 2 and also on beat 2. So right now for the second bar we have 1 and 2. Snare drum falls on 3, and then you play beat 4 is just hitting the ride cymbal. So the second bar is 1 and 2, 3, 4. Both bars really slow. We have this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, 3, 4. Let me show you exactly what that would sound like with the metronome. And if you feel confident enough as you play, you can throw little embellishments in with the kick drum as you loop the bars, as I was doing there. For this bridge section, I'm not going to say like, hey, this is the exact way you have to play it. Really, all you're doing is you're making this really big build to go through this whole section, because there's a lot of bridge that happens. The bridge happens a total of, I believe, 4 times. I'm not going to sit here and tell you exactly how the drummer plays it on the album. I'm going to try to do my best to stick true to that, because part of it, once again, this is a part where I necessarily cannot play as fast as he can for as long as he can. I'm going to be modifying this to where it suits me, but I still can play and make it sound pretty much like what the recording is. So the first bridge, I'm not really playing much. I'm keeping quarter notes at 70 beats a minute on the ride cymbal. So this time I'm actually counting this as how it should be. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. And that's just helping me kind of, just keep in time a little bit. I'm not really trying to build yet or anything, because I don't want to hit that ceiling too early and leave absolutely no room for the song to grow anywhere after that. Even though, yes, we're going to hit a drop chorus, I don't want to be getting too big before I hit chorus 4, and then once I hit chorus 4, I don't want to be like, I don't have any more to add to this to make it any bigger. So ease yourself into it. After you're done with those quarter notes, then just start adding the kick drum in on the quarter notes and double the hand to eighth notes. So I'm going to leave my mic on, and I'm going to leave the metronome kind of running a little bit and talk through this. So sorry if you get some of the acoustic slap into the mic. This is better, a section better just kind of talked through and done at the same time. So I'm starting out with just my quarter notes. Then I'm going to bring my foot in, and I'm going to double my right hand to eighth. My kick drum's just really driving this part here. Then I'm going to bring my left hand and play some eighth notes on the snare along with my right hand and get kind of washy on the right hand. Now I'm going to bring my foot up to speed with my hands playing eighth notes to really get the kick going. Now I'm going to double my hands to 16th notes while my kick drum stays on eighths. Here we go. Then lastly, how I would end it is I'm going to bring my foot up to speed with my hands, and it's all just going to be 16th notes, and it's going to be crazy fast. Here we go. So I hope that kind of helps explain how to get through that section. I'm just going to start adding things to it. As you're playing it, think what would help drive this more, and then but I still need to reserve some, and then think once you get to the next bridge or halfway through the bridge, think, okay, I need to add something else to make this sound just a little bigger and just a little bigger and a little bigger, gradually build it up so you can hit that last section really big, hitting all those 16th notes, which I say is crazy fast, and it kind of is. And it's kind of difficult, honestly, for me to play it. I think he plays it for like a whole entire bridge. I usually do it for like the last 2 bars or so. Then after that, you hit a drop chorus. In the drop chorus, you're not really playing anything. And then you're going to build up after that drop chorus into just playing, yet again, a normal chorus. And that build, once again, it can be whatever build you want. I also do have, I think I can leave it somewhere on the screen here for you, that I do have a video showing kind of how to go through builds for worship songs. So that's pretty much it. After you hit that bridge part, then you got to just kind of play the last chorus there, and then the song pretty much ends. So I really hope that this helped you guys out. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that this helped you out. If you learned something new, leave a thumbs up. Please subscribe below if you're interested in more content like this in the future. Leave any questions or comments you have below. If you're leaving a question, it helps to put a big capital Q if it's a question you want me to answer on the channel before you type that question, so I can weed that out between the normal comments. But thank you guys so much for watching. Have an awesome day.